So, I mean, you were kind of pushing back about my take on marriage and because I'm against marriage.
Right.
Okay. I mean, yes, I suppose. What was the last thing you said? That I'm looking to these other examples, but that's not fair because I'm not giving it a chance.
You're just limiting it. Like when you have those thoughts in your head and you think about the way that other people have been affected and you put that in your head, it's destined to become your reality because that's what you're thinking.
Well, I don't necessarily think that it's destined to be my reality.
If you're putting it out there, absolutely it will, because you're saying you won't get married.
Sure, all the more reason to not get married then. But
I think if you are fear-based, you're going to not be successful in your pursuit for a romantic relationship.
Well, it's not about
because
fear.
you're listing out the celebrities and you're afraid that something like that can happen.
It has nothing to do with fear.
It
has nothing to do with fear.
It is fear.
But that's okay, because like all of us deal with fear.
Then why won't you get married? Why wouldn't you take the risk to get married?
Well, I'll tell you why. Because I mean, if I choose to not sign a contract which I deem to be, if that contract puts me at a disadvantage, or it's an unfair contract, or the contract is ludicrous, then it's not a fear. It's just me being.
So marriage is ludicrous, like signing the paper.
Well, hold on.
Ludicrous.
You don't have
it's
to
just
do the
me
government
being
papers.
Pragmatic.
You don't have to. I don't believe that you have to do it through the government or the state.
Right. Well,
or get a prenup.
You can make your own.
Yeah, that doesn't dismiss
you can make your own contract between
whole.
you and your fiance and sign it together. Like marriage isn't dependent. It doesn't require the state to make it official.
Well, there's a few things. So some states, there's something called common law marriage. Luckily, I believe, my understanding is California is not a common law marriage state. But if you cohabitate with someone and you treat them as if you're married, basically, if you cohabitate for a certain period of time, the government, the state, will view you as if you were married. So if in the event of a breakup, your girlfriend, even though you weren't technically married, can say, we were married, and then she's going to come after you for alimony and spousal support.
I'm going to say something controversial, but I'm going to put it on the table so people can think about it. But listen, biblically speaking, okay, and not even just biblically, like society speaking, humanity speaking, most of societies, even in ancient times, marriage was created through consensual sex. Now hear me out.
Okay, but hold on. Where are you going with this? Because sex does not create marriage in today's day and age. We can talk about Greece and Romans and shit, but
imagine if it did. Imagine, okay, we're talking about the ideal here. Listen, if people understood that if they had sex with somebody that made them a husband or wife, then they wouldn't be sleeping around. Then you wouldn't have to be worried about, not just you, but men in general, don't have to be worried about women's body counts and their lack of ability to pair bond. We wouldn't have to be worried about divorce rates going up every time the body count goes up and higher. People would understand that if a man had sex with a woman, that woman is now his wife, and he is responsible to protect, lead, and provide for her. And if they had a child because they had sex, he can't just run away or tell her to have an abortion, because he is now the husband. He's responsible for that unborn child. And he can't just leave the woman after she just gave him her body and her womb. And so he's responsible for her. And we were talking about the ideal. We're obviously like 60 years past this sexual revolution here, so we're very screwed up. But even in the 50s, people understood this. That's why there was a thing called shotgun weddings, where the father, if he found out that you had sex with his daughter, you had to go marry her now. We're 60 years past the sexual revolution, but if we understood that if a woman had sex with a man and gave him her virginity, that meant that she was now his wife. There's no sleeping with some other man. You understand? There's no some other baby daddy, and I'm going back to my first man that I slept with and saying, you got to take care of me and this baby daddy. This is the ideal, and this is what is prescribed in the Bible, and this is what humans have been doing forever, and it was normal even in the 1950s. It wasn't until the 1960s with the sexual revolution that it got screwed up with hookup culture, with abortion being legalized in all 50 states. Everything has been destroyed.
Well, the cat is out of the bag.
Yes, it is.
We can be idealists and wishful thinking.
So you just have to think about it. But if you are...
But that's why I need to be pragmatic as a man, because I'm not meeting virgins. Most women who are available are not virgins.
Right.
And
But if you
I'm
just
not a virgin
understood-
myself.
Yeah, that's why Christ is so important in all of this, because with Christ you are forgiven. I'm not talking about a born-again virgin. You can't change the biological reality that you are not a virgin. But if you are forgiven in Christ, that's why a lot of Christians, even though they have a history, they have a sexual past, they understand that they are covered in the blood of Christ and they are forgiven and they can start new. They are committed to the man that they marry, and that's why they're dedicated to that marriage and they don't have a divorce. More conservative, the studies show extremely conservative couples have a better sex life. They have a better marriage. They are happier in their relationships.
I think that's a big L for Christian men to just accept a woman who slept
But
with.
the Christian men also have history sometimes. They also
Sure.
have been sleeping around.
Sure,